My name is Richard Freeburn. I'm an injury attorney with the law firm of Freeburn Hamilton and a member of ABATE. ABATE stands for Alliance of Bikers Aimed Towards Education. The presentation that you are about to see is about motorcycle awareness and is brought to you by OSAL, or Operation Save a Life. OSAL's motto is, "Look twice, save a life." Please give us your full attention.
In today's presentation, we'll cover several topics regarding motorcycle safety. We'll highlight some of the unique driving differences between a car and a motorcycle. We'll also show why some road hazards are more dangerous for motorcycles than they are for cars. We'll explain why a driver should follow a motorcycle at a greater distance than they would another car. We'll learn how to calculate the proper safe following distance from a motorcycle. And we'll show that there are real safety reasons why a motorcycle driver may behave differently on the road than the driver of a car. But how are motorcycles different than cars? Let's look at some of these differences. Motorcycles use hand controls for gas and braking instead of pedals. A rider has to concentrate on much more than just steering. Motorcycles have a single headlight or sometimes a cluster of headlights, which greatly reduces their ability to see and to be seen. Motorcycles have a single front wheel that is steered with handlebars, which makes them more susceptible to poor road conditions. And motorcyclists sit on top of a motorcycle and are much less protected than people inside a car. This is even more apparent when a rider has a passenger on the same bike. Let's learn a little more about how motorcycles operate.
All right, class, here we are. We're going to show you what the lights on a motorcycle look like in the outside, and we'll show you how hard they are to see. Matt has his single headlight on here in the front. They're as big as an automobile, but not quite as bright. We have running lights, LED lights on this sport bike. We have lights here. I will show you the high and low beams. High beam, low beam. Now I want to show you the turn signal on this bike. Okay, there it is right there. That's as big as it gets. That's all there is to see. There's the other side over here. Okay, and I will show you Matt's right-hand turn signal here, so you see what his light does. His light changes colors, goes from the LED to orange, so you can see it. All right, now we're going to show you the back of the bike, but first I want to indicate the differences in size in these two motorcycles. This sport bike weighs about 410 pounds, and this Street Glide is about 700, 800 pounds. It's a cruiser bike, really nice for passengers, and it's a real pretty bike here. All right, I'm going to show you the brake lights on this sport bike first. That is the brake light. If you're following us too close, you're not going to be able to see that brake light. So you've got to give us a little bit of room. I'll show you the brake light on this one. There they are, okay? That's the only difference when you're going down the road. I will show you the turn signals on this one. Again, very small, hard to see. Everybody knows how hard they are to see. And the turn signal on this one is like that. And like that. Again, please remember, if you're following too close, you will not be able to see these lights. That's why it's important for you to stay back from us and give us that little extra breathing space that we asked for. All right, we're going to show you the right handlebar controls on a motorcycle, the most important hand to a motorcycle operator. Over here we have our throttle, our front brake, and our kill switch. Our four-way flashers are over here. The turn signal is over here. We go to the other side. We have a clutch, we have a turn signal, we have high and low beams, and we have the horn. Okay, we have a normal instrument cluster. It will tell us our speed, a tachometer, a battery for our voltmeter, and our fuel gauge. The screen here on the newer motorcycles is for the GPS and the radio, and all those controls are on the bottom of both handlebars. Okay, and one last feature that we need to show you is the rear brake pedal, which is down here. That operates the rear brake, and this operates the front brake. We have two sets of brakes on a motorcycle. All right, now we've added a passenger to the motorcycle. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get them back up on two wheels, feet up, all good, looking straight ahead. Now, when you get on as a passenger on a motorcycle, you become one and the same with the motorcycle and the operator. You are both responsible for the safe operation of the vehicle, the navigation, the balance, everything. Okay, the passenger's role is to watch for obstacles coming at you from the sides, from the rear, because the mirrors don't show everything in the rear of a motorcycle. So the passenger would help the operator and tell them that there's a car coming behind them very fast, or that there's one coming from the side, or there's a car pulling out down in front of us. And then you would also help them out if they need to make a turn. Do not distract them, just keep them focused and keep them aware and try to help them get down the road. When we go around a corner to the left, we lean just a little bit to the left. Okay, we go around a corner to the right, we lean just a little bit to the right. What we don't want the passenger to do is make a large, sudden movement on the back of that motorcycle like that. Leslie, what would have happened if that would have happened while you were going down the road?
We would have tipped over.
You would have tipped over and crashed. You would have both had road rash. Okay? Thank you.
Another difference between motorcycles and cars is that they often use hand signals to communicate with drivers or each other. Here's an example of just some of the many hand signals that motorcycle operators use. As you can see, there is a lot of nonverbal messaging that riders use to communicate. Next, let's talk about hazards that are more likely to make motorcycles crash than cars. A major hazard is when a rider encounters animals. This could be a family pet that has gotten loose, or wildlife such as raccoons, or deer, or even birds. Road obstructions such as potholes, oil spots, loose gravel, or even train tracks can be potential hazards. Wet leaves and even grass clippings can be a danger. As a rider, there's a lot more to watch out for than when you're in a car. And because motorcycles are so different from cars, they face greater hazards. For safety reasons, they sometimes have to actually drive differently than a car. For example, motorcyclists generally ride on the left side of the lane to make themselves more visible in your car's side mirror, and to avoid oil slicks and fluids that usually leak onto the center of the lane. Motorcyclists generally move to the right side of the lane at stop signs and stop lights in order to give themselves an out if they see that they are about to be rear-ended by an inattentive driver. Motorcyclists often have to move suddenly to avoid road hazards that cars can easily ignore. Let's learn more about how we can all be a little smarter regarding motorcycles on the road.
It's a beautiful fall day in Pennsylvania, perfect for a drive or a motorcycle ride. Our friend Kevin here is about to enjoy a nice drive, and thanks to his smart car and education on sharing the road with motorcyclists who are also out enjoying the fall weather.
Good morning.
How does traffic look this morning?
Your route appears to be clear.
Great. Whoa!
Put that phone away. Yes, I am talking to you. Distracted driving greatly increases your risk of crashing, and you will almost hit that motorcyclist. Always look twice before pulling out, especially near motorcycles.
Thanks. Where'd that guy come from? I didn't even see him.
A motorcycle is much smaller than a car, making it more difficult to judge its speed and distance.
Makes sense. Keeps moving around back there.
Motorcyclists adjust their position within a lane to make sure they are seen. He is making sure that he is not in your blind spot. It is much easier for a motorcyclist to get lost in a driver's blind spot. Always look twice to make sure there is no one in your blind spot.
Whoa, why did he just swerve like that?
Motorcyclists must be able to react quickly when there is a bump or hazard in the road. Hitting an object could cause a motorcycle to crash, so it is important that they are ready to act.
Is his brake light on? It doesn't look like he's slowing down.
A motorcycle's taillights are always on. It makes the motorcycle more visible to other drivers. When the rider uses their brakes, the lights get brighter. Because they are smaller, they also accelerate and brake faster than cars. It is important to give motorcyclists more space than you would a car.
Oh, okay. I guess that means he's turning?
That is right. Motorcyclists use hand signals to communicate with other people on the road. Some riders indicate right and left turns using hand signals in addition to the turn signal on their motorcycle, since their turn signals are small and can be difficult to see. It is important to be especially careful at intersections. When approaching an intersection, always remind yourself to look twice for any motorcycles. There are many reports of drivers making a left turn who say they never saw the motorcycle. That is because the driver was not actively looking for a motorcycle. Motorcycles are smaller than cars and can easily hide in a blind spot and blend into their surroundings. Give motorcycles plenty of space. A motorcycle approaching an intersection you are stopped at is moving faster than you think. Don't pull out in front of a motorcycle. The rider might not be able to react fast enough to avoid you. Don't assume a motorcycle with their turn signal on is actually turning. Many motorcycles do not have self-canceling turn signals, and the rider might have forgotten to turn that signal off. Always make sure the motorcycle is turning before proceeding. When making any turns at any intersection, remember, actively look for motorcycles. Always look twice and give motorcycles plenty of space.
Huh. I guess they know each other.
They might. Many motorcyclists wave when they pass each other on the road. It is an acknowledgement of their community. Now that you know more about how to watch for motorcycles, let's continue to your destination. In half a mile, turn left onto
Watch for motorcycles, give them space, and look twice when pulling onto the road. A collision that results in a dent for you can be deadly for a motorcyclist. Look twice, save a life, watch for motorcycles.
Most crashes happen because the driver of a car didn't see the motorcycle. Here's an example of how quickly you can miss a motorcycle's approach.
How close does a motorcycle have to be before you see it? Here or here? At an intersection, look, look, then look again. Think. Look twice for motorcyclists.
This is why we say, look twice, save a life. Studies show that most crashes occur at intersections when a car makes a left turn into the path of an oncoming motorcycle, or when a car pulls out from a stop sign into a motorcycle's path, or when a car rear-ends a motorcycle because the driver didn't see the rider slow down or come to a stop. These crashes can also occur when a car turns into or pulls out of a driveway or parking lot, or when a car changes lanes in traffic. Look twice also means take time. That second look only takes an extra second, but it may be the most important second of your life and the motorcyclist's life.
I'm Constable Nathan Canner of the West Prairie Sound OPP Detachment. Road safety is a responsibility that is shared amongst all drivers. Make sure to take the time to look around obstacles in your view. You never know what they may be hiding. Not texting and hands-free operation of cell phones only. Big or small, we all have to share the road.
Now, let's talk about following too close, or tailgating. One way to calculate proper following distance from any vehicle is to watch when the rear bumper of the vehicle ahead passes a fixed object, such as a tree, a mailbox, or a sign, and then count 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. If your front bumper passes the same object in less than 4 seconds, you're following too close. Your following distance may need to be even greater depending on the speed of traffic, when the roads are wet, when you're going downhill, visibility at night, or even the type of vehicle you're following. When following a motorcycle, for example, allow at least 6 to 8 seconds or more to be safe. This is because motorcycles can slow down or stop much more quickly than a car, and it's much harder to see their brake lights. You can see how difficult it sometimes is to see the illuminated taillight in these pictures. So when you're behind a motorcycle, try to remember this: give space and be safe. Driving is the most dangerous activity that you can do, so it requires your full attention. Distracted driving happens whenever your eyes or your mind are not on the road. This can happen when you're talking on your phone, texting, using a GPS, or doing other things like eating, applying makeup, reaching for things, attending to your kids, or just talking to your friends. The average time to text takes about 4.5 seconds. That may not sound like a lot, but when you're driving at 55 miles per hour, you can travel the length of a football field. That's a huge distance to drive blind. So never take your eyes off the road, even for just 1 second. Also, when asked, roughly 77% of teens wrongly believe that they can safely text and drive as part of everyday driving. Unfortunately, about 11 teens die every single day directly due to texting and driving. What is the Good Samaritan law? It's a law which generally states that a person who, in good faith, renders emergency aid or rescue at the scene of an emergency shall not be liable, except for intentional acts or omissions designed to cause harm or for grossly negligent acts or omissions. If you come upon a motorcycle accident with an injured rider, let's talk a little bit about what you should and shouldn't do. Do not take their helmet off unless it is absolutely necessary for the injured motorcyclist to breathe or in order to perform CPR. If they are unconscious, you can carefully undo their helmet strap to help them breathe. Also, it is usually possible to safely open their visor in order to gain access to their face without removing their helmet. Call 911 and stay with the injured rider until help arrives. Motorcycle safety is a two-way street, and it's quite possible that as a driver, you rarely think about motorcycles, but we all have a responsibility in keeping ourselves, our fellow drivers, and motorcyclists safe on the road. This concludes our presentation today. Remember, motorcycles are everywhere, and they depend on people like you to help keep them safe. Take that extra second, and you just might save a life. We thank you for your attention, and please keep in mind OSAL's motto, look twice, save a life. Make looking twice part of your driving habit. Brought to you by Freeburn Hamilton, Injury Lawyers, ABATE of Pennsylvania, and Operation Save a Life.